Yo, what's up, guys? So I played Runic Sprite and I got a top 32 at YCS Minneapolis. It was a hard-fought battle. I went from, if you guys saw the feature match, I went from, I believe, 4-2 or 3-2 at the time, and I thought to myself, damn, I really got to win 5 to 6 in a row to like make top cut. But I did it, so it's pretty poggers. I guess huge shouts to Josh Schmidt. He helped me with some of the theorying for this deck, and of course shout out to Gunther, Hani, Blair, the man behind the camera, just for for support. They played a different deck because they didn't believe in the Runic deck, but I honestly think this was like the best deck in the room. Just because I think there's no edge in the tier mirror. And I think the Sprite deck has like a big edge, especially because I expected everyone to play Bestial cards, and the Bestial cards just sat in my opponent's hand like throughout the entire tournament, which is pretty nice. So I think the theory of the deck makes sense for like the tournament that I was going into. So I'll get right into the profile now. Pretty standard: 3 blue, 3 jet. I wanted to cut one of the jets down, but I wanted my deck to be as consistent as possible. Just because I just didn't want to like have any break situations, because I knew like Minneapolis was going to be a pretty big tournament. It was 11 rounds, 1,100 people. So I just didn't want to have any chances of me like breaking it all. So that's why I didn't cut the jet down. But in theory, you could. I just didn't want to break. But also because I sided at second smashers for the mirror match. So like the third jet became even more important after that. 1 cap shell, 1 Hyperia. Those are basically I played 1 and 1. I know Josh played like 2 Hyperias. I think you only need 1 and 1 now because Sprint sends you like the missing piece, so you can like reborn it and then draw an extra card. Even if you don't open, like you can get Gigantic for a cap shell, and then like Sprint the Hyperia, then Elf back the Hyperia. So you always like draw 2. So that's why I like these 2. There's also another card called like Swap Cleric that could also be really good. It's basically cap shell, but it can get Bestialed, which is nice. And I still played the cat. The cat was just really good because I thought that Branded Tier Elements was a deck that's going to be pretty popular, and like you kind of need this cat to out their Mirror Jade. There's like no really other good way to do it besides Sprint, which is like basically a cat. But I still really wanted to play the cat, to be honest. It was like really good for me. I played 2 people who were playing like the Brave deck with the Sprite cards in their deck, and be able to bounce back their token to turn off their Brave package was pretty nice. But yeah, I liked it. Then I played 3 Sphere Mode and 3 Evenly Match for my board breakers. So I decided to play more than 3. I know I think Josh played like 3 Lava Golem or something along those lines, but I wanted to play 3 Sphere Mode and 3 Evenly. So I'll explain the theory on Sphere Mode. So when I was looking into the Tier Element deck, their board is typically something along the lines of Kaleido Heart, Barone, and Lulu Carlos plus Crime and Sullyik. Because that's especially if they open the field spell, it allows them to get access to all of that. If you Lava Golem them, you have to clear Barone, and then you have to clear one of the Tier Element monsters, so their counter trap is always alive, which is really problematic to deal with sometimes. So I wanted Sphere Mode because I just wanted to hit all 3 monsters. And yeah, it sucks that you can't cap back their Sphere Mode, but what comes up quite often is sometimes they can't link off the Sphere Mode because they burn through their entire extra deck trying to combo turn 1. So they actually can't link up the Sphere Mode, so you get the Sphere Mode back, which helps you actually link climb as well, which is pretty nice. So the Sphere Mode actually came back to me a couple games, which I thought was pretty cool. Even if my opponent played around Sphere Mode, if they knew I was on it, their board becomes significantly weaker. And so what I do is post side, I set out the Sphere Mode for Lava Golems if I'm expecting them to play around it. So yeah, other than that, I think Sphere Mode was really good. I cannot count the amount of times I won all my matches. I went 2-9 in dice rolls in Swiss out of 11 rounds. So having 6 board breakers, basically auto wins is really, really good for that. So yeah, and then 3 evenly match because I basically wanted a card that can equalize the game because I wasn't sure how many people was gonna main deck Crime, and I wanted to punish all the decks that didn't main deck Crime. So evenly match was really good for that. But even if they did have Crime, you can actually bait it quite easily. I played a tier player who I summoned the dog off a really bad Runic card, crashed it, and then just popped their back row, and I hit the Crime and then evenly matched them, and the game was just over. So yeah, evenly matched me was just crazy. I think this card was really, really broken. There's just not enough omni negates in the game right now, so cards like these are just like always gonna resolve because they have to negate your tip or they have to like negate your starter or whatever. So it's like pretty good. Then I played like three starter, 1 smasher. That's just like standard. And then for the Runic engine, I played double fountain, triple tip, triple destruction, 17 Runic cards basically, triple flashing fire, 3 curses, 3 slumber, and then 1 hammer, 1 dispelling. I thought about playing the golden droplet over the smiting storm, but smiting storm actually decked my opponent out. Whereas if I played the golden apple, I wouldn't be able to, because like usually when they're like down to like very few cards, they don't usually have like 5 cards to like banish or like 4 cards to banish and draw 1. So smiting storm clears it up pretty easily. So I liked it. But yeah, 40 cards in the main deck. All right, so for the side deck, I played 1 Chaos Hunter, 1 Thunder King, 1 Testudo. The Chaos Hunter came up the most for me. I played against a pure Mystic Mind player, who put up Majesty's Fiend. So I did this like really insane play where I freezing cursed my opponent's Majesty's Fiend. I made a Mannequin Cat. I brought back my opponent's cherries because he cherries me for my elf, and then I used my Mannequin Cat to target the Majesty's Fiend. And summoned my a Chaos Hunter from my deck, which is a Fiend, which turns off all of his Runic cards. So like his Runic mind deck was pretty much like dead because he couldn't activate any of his Runic cards to like banish. And I summoned a Chaos Hunter off a cat, and the game was just pretty much over. So that was like pretty neat. And also the really cool thing about Chaos Hunter is that it's a 2500 dark monster. So I would still side it in. Just because sometimes it comes up to like Eradicator your opponent, so with it against like the pure mind deck. So like I actually won a game where I tribute set for a Chaos Hunter under Floodgates, and then I eradicated my opponent. So that was pretty nice. So yeah, they're also all Mannequin Cat targets. 3 Eradicator, just this card's just broken. Like every time it resolves, you just win. To be honest. I only played 2 Lava Golem because I felt like if I played 3, I would have 3 Sphere Mode and like 3 Lava Golem, and they kind of conflict with each other. I kind of only wanted to draw 1, and when I did the math, it was if you played 5 and 40, you have the highest chance of drawing only 1, but not multiples. And because like Lava Golem and Sphere Mode don't work together if you draw them together, so that's why I was like, I'm only just gonna play 2 Lava. So that was why I only had 2 in the side. I played 2 Talents. Just because my side pattern for when I go first is usually triple Eradicator, double Talents, and then 1 of the targets for Mannequin Cat, and I side out the 3 evenly, 3 Sphere Modes. So I knew that I needed to find a 2 of, because I know I'm always putting in 3 Eradicator regardless of the matchup, and I'm putting in 1 of the Mannequin Cat targets, so I needed 2 more cards that could be really good going first, and I just put in like Talents. Because it's a card that like everyone knows I'm main decking a lot of like board breakers like Sphere Mode or evenly. So sometimes I don't know if they're gonna make me start or not. So I just put Talents in because it's like consistently good first or second too. So that's also a nice factor about it. I side the second Smashers, which comes up a lot in like the Runic Mirror match, where when you're grinding back and forth with each other, having a second Smashers can win you the game because it allows you to out their fountain, and that like pretty much like can turn the tides pretty easily. It was also like just really good against like all like rogue decks. Like for me, it was like pretty good against like Exosister as well, because like a lot of people forget that you can like banish from hand. So like, if you guys watch my feature, I think I beat like I won game 1 against the Exo player opening like triple Jet, just because I remember that Jet can banish from hand, and that also plays around their what do you call it, like the graveyard, so they can't trigger any of their like the girls to like summon. But it was just very good for me. Like I sided it against, I'm trying to think what other matchups I sided it against. I think it was like mainly like the mirror match is what I wanted it for. It's just like a really good card to have. Also against the Sprite Mirror too, just in general, because having a second Smasher is like really good in the grind. And I said Resonator. When you normal summon it, you summon level 2 from the hand. It's pretty good. But in all honesty, like Resonator is quite needed. Like all jokes aside, for the Runic deck, because like people are pretty stubborn when they play against this deck. Like they don't want to scoop. Like you can have like literally 10 cards in hand, like dropping 5 in the graveyard at end phase, and they still like would like not scoop. So like I would side Resonate in with like 20-25 minutes left on the clock, just because I know the game's gonna take long. Just because like people are like pretty stubborn, they don't want to concede when like the advantage is like clearly like in my favor. So like I put Resonator in as a result, and then I sided 3 Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. I needed a card that basically, like, the thing with the Runic deck is if you lose game 1, game 1 usually takes a while. I'm talking about like it's usually a 20-25 minute game 1 because your opponent plays, you play, and they're trying to like they're trying to like grind you out. And if you lose game 1, game 2 you'll usually win because you go first, but then in game 3 they'll like try to like burn you. So you need a way to like gain life points to counteract them trying to burn you in game 3 when you lose game 1. So like in reality, in theory, I thought this card would be really good. In practice, it was like all right, but I do think I just needed to have it just as a precaution. In my top 32 match, that's exactly what happened. Like I lost game 1, I won game 2. There was about like 10 minutes left on the clock, and I sided this card in, but it didn't matter because my opponent had Call by the Grave anyways. So, but in theory, that's the application for why I sided this card. And now for the extra deck. So, Triple Elf, Sprint. Sprint is like broken. This card like sends like the missing piece. And if you have like an X user with a material, it can bounce a card, which is really good because it gives you like a 3rd bounce. Because you usually cat twice to like bounce, and then like Sprint gives you like the 3rd bounce when you're going second. So it's actually a really good breaker as well. IP Masquerena to make Avermax. Dark Charmer to take your opponent's blue in the mirror match. And then Avermax. Surprisingly, people like didn't respect the Avermax IP line, and like people like actually didn't play out. So I actually won like a couple games just off that alone. Mannequin Cat cards broken. Obermaru, Tuki Gentic, pretty solid, and then just 3 Hugin and 1 Gary. Really not much to say. The level 2 is like definitely the best one. So yeah. And shout out to everyone who like supported me. I appreciate all of you guys. The Cook token, shout out to Campa for giving this to me. And also check out my sponsors in the description box below. Sleeve Chiefs, they provided me like all my sleeves to use for all my tournament. And if you use Pack 5, you can get 5% off. So huge shout out to them for that. They just recently restocked on all the sleeves. But anyways, I'll talk to you guys. Thanks again. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.